This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
And happy Wednesday. No, Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. How about that?
Today's Wednesday, but yeah, Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How do you feel about genies?
Genies?
Genies. Like not the game genie back in the day.
Right,
Well,
like
but
the
how do you
cheat
feel
code.
about that?
Oh,
Anyways.
it's awesome.
I loved it too. Okay. When we're talking genies, like, I mean, they can blue, white, black, orange, whatever color you want them to be.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I could have 3 wishes.
Okay. Yes.
But you can never wish for more than 3 wishes. That's the problem.
That is, I know. And you can't wish for love
Yeah.
or death, right?
I think so.
That's kind of the rules?
right.
Okay. Unless you're Shazam. And then you can wish. So, Robin Williams, how was he as a genie? I think he's
One of the
pinnacle.
best.
What about Will Smith?
He's pretty good.
You don't have to say he was.
Okay.
He's not going to come in here and slap you. Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've watched that movie a couple times. Mm-hmm. He's okay. Yeah. He's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because watching the Old Aladdin, the animated one, you know, like you can tell Robin Williams making the voices and everything. It's so awesome to be in the studio with him recording all that dialogue and like the facial expressions and just
There's some YouTube videos of him doing it. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Awesome. All right. If you had a genie in disc golf, has to be a current player, who would it be? I have a follow-up question too.
Chandler Fry.
Chandler Fry? Okay. So
Yeah, why
the
not?
Chanimal?
Yeah.
All right. What color would he be?
He would be purple.
Okay. And would he have a tail or legs?
Oh, no legs.
It has to be like floaty apparition.
Yeah, right. Or like Pee-wee's Playhouse, like just the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh, that's horrible. I don't want to talk about that. There's so many emotions that went through my mind. Like, super excited about Pee-wee's Playhouse. And then remembering that he got arrested for...
Yeah.
In a movie theater. And then tried to make a comeback. Mm-hmm. Fell flat.
Do you know who's in Pee-wee's Playhouse that made it big after that? Lawrence Fishburne.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What was he?
Cowboy Buddy.
You're...
Honest to God.
Oh, that is awesome.
You know, who knew he'd be that and turn into Morpheus?
Exactly. Oh, see, Matrix, number 3.
Yeah.
At Pee-wee's Playhouse then, too. All right. So, Chandler Fry pops out in front of you. Purple, tail. Oh, no, he's just a head? Did we decide he's just a head?
He's just floating after. Like,
Okay, so he's a floating genie.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, Aladdin.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You get 3 wishes. Only pertaining to your disc golf game. What are they?
Ooh. Make every circle 2-putt.
Okay.
I think that would save a lot of strokes.
Yeah.
Never throw out of bounds.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's a big wish. I feel like that would be a disc golf no-no wish.
If it's any 3 wishes.
True. Okay.
Always beat Paul McBeth.
Always beat Paul McBeth?
Always beat Paul McBeth.
So statistically, over the last, was it 5 years or 6 years? You're always going to be top 10, no matter what.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good life.
Yeah, I agree.
How about yourself? Who would you choose?
Oh, I didn't think about this. I just kind of threw it at you.
Yeah, this happens a lot. You just throw me questions.
I know. Well, that's the whole purpose of it. Put you on the spot, not me.
Yeah.
All right. I say, who would be the genie? Can I? I feel like Simon Lizotte would be an awesome genie.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So Simon Lizotte, and he would be red.
Sounds angry.
He does, yeah, not Simon.
No.
But I just feel like a red would be a good color for him. And then he would be the same, just Aladdin, genie, Robin Williams. Mm-hmm. And the 3 wishes would to be. Why does that sound wrong to me? Would to be.
Because you're putting in an extra syllable.
Is it the syllable is wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Would be. That's hard because. So I would want effortless-ish distance up to 600 feet.
Ooh.
So just have the ability to throw 600 feet.
Yeah.
On golf lines, I would want a 500 foot plus forehand. So eagle-ish. Well,
Yeah.
before he dislocated all of his junk there. And then I like the no OB rule.
Yeah.
I'll go with the no OB.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be my three.
So basically, you'd be like Alden Harris, not hitting OB.
Right, exactly. But throwing about, 150 feet further in both of them. So, yeah, I'd be good with that. So,
Nice.
Yeah, those are my three. Why'd you throw me under the bus like that?
You never answer questions.
No, I don't. I can dodge them.
Yeah.
It's like a boxer up against the ropes. Rope a dope. Okay. Preview today. We're going to go over Jonesboro. We're going to talk about T-pads. Calvin, Tatar. We'll go DDO picks. And we'll go over our Jonesboro picks. I have them sitting here right in front of me. See how good we did or did not do.
Yeah.
And then let's see. We have we'll talk about Matt Bell's ace.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about rules officials on the course. What we think should or should not happen, maybe. And then we'll go over a random question. And then shop updates. And let's not forget about the Paul McBeth Foundation. You have officially, at this point, when you're listening to this, 2 more days. We were at over 70%, so over $7,000, which is great. But $10,000 matching. My wife and I are going to match up to $10,000 for the Paul McBeth Foundation in the month of April. For every dollar that's donated, we will match it. So jump on paulmcbethfoundation.org and donate, and we'll match. Have a couple more days. So today should be the 29th that we release this, and you have 30th, and is there a 31 in? If there's a 31, you have 2. If not, there's 1. How about that?
I always used to do the finger counting thing.
Yeah.
Like in January, February, how you do that.
Yeah. So you'll have at least 1 day. He's going to pull up the calendar now to make sure.
There's 30 days.
Oh, 30. So you
Saturdays,
have Friday and Saturday. So get on there. Even if it's 10 cents, it turns into 20. Remember that. All right. Outside of that, let's get into Jonesboro.
You didn't want to go over what we bought this week?
Oh, my goodness. How did I forget that?
Yeah.
Oh, naughty. Hey, so what'd you buy this week? Is it a thrower, hanger, or flipper?
I bought nothing this week.
Guess what?
Same.
I bought nothing as well.
I will say, I once again turned in a ton of discs to the shop, though.
I saw those. I walked in and I took a picture and I'm like, who brought all these? And it was question mark, kind of sarcastically. But I did dig through it, and there was that first run Grace in there. Mm-hmm. Mine's getting a bit flippy. I was like, ooh, this is awesome. So I might buy that one.
Yeah, it didn't jive with me, so I was like, yeah.
I like them. They're overstable enough. They're stable enough. They're not overstable enough for me. So I like them. I enjoy them. Jordan throws the Tatar Graces, and I'm about to sneeze. I'm going to turn the mic off. I'm back. That was a good one, wasn't it?
That was.
Okay. Yeah, so he throws the Tatar Graces, and he loves them. So I'm going to give him one of my Tatar Graces, and the other one I'm going to leave hanging up. So I'll pick the prettiest one and hang it up, and the other one is going to go to him. So I'll talk about T-box soxes that you just... Socks.
I think socks is just the plural. Like there's
not soxes.
No.
It's not boxes. It's soxes.
Boxes of soxes that go on foxes.
I can't think. Roxes. So Hand-Eye Supply T-Box socks. These things are awesome. So I actually have a pair from Smashbox when we went and played Skyline. They gave us some. I wear them. And then I also have, I think they're sublimated socks. I'm not sure if they're T-Box socks. I think they are. But believe it or not, from the Six Geniuses. So it's a leadership training course that I went through. Mm-hmm. The first class to go through, and we got socks of the Six Geniuses.
Oh, wow.
And they had the logo on them. And so I actually have both of those. I've never worn the Six Geniuses socks, but I have worn the Smashbox ones. So I know for sure that those are T-Box socks.
Cool.
So, yeah. But thank you, JP. He gave them to me.
Yes, I did.
So we're really discussing. I think it'll be a good idea. I'll chat with the other fellas, but possibly getting some up here in Door County with the owls on them. Mm-hmm. So for the shop. All right. now that we went through the things we did not buy, we'll talk into Jonesboro. So here are the picks that we had. So JP was Paige, Allen, King, 1, 2, 3. And Paul, Ricky, KJ, USA, 1, 2, 3, respectively. So Paul came in second. Not too bad, not too shabby.
Nope.
And then Ricky and KJ. KJ, I think, was fourth. Is that correct? Tied for fourth or fifth? He fell off
Something
there.
like that, yeah.
Because Calvin was one, Paul was one as well, but second. And then KJ came behind him. And with who? Why can't I think of his name? Anyways, and then Paige, Allen, and King. King was kind of nowhere to be seen, if I remember right.
No, she really wasn't.
And Allen wasn't either. And Paige made a comeback, but not enough. Tatar swept to the field. It was wire to wire. It was amazing.
Yeah, she dominated.
And
It was just ridiculous.
Incredible. So,
Oh no, Kevin Jones finished third.
oh, he did finish third. Okay, so he stayed on there.
Yep. Calvin, Paul, Kevin Jones, Chris Dickerson, Gannon Burr, Matt Oram, Simon Lizotte, Joel Freeman, Alden Harris, all tied for sixth. And then Ricky, Thomas Gilbert, Ezra, all tied for 10th.
Yeah, and awesome. Thomas Gilbert making the push, and Simon Lizotte stepping up. Awesome.
Yeah.
And why is the narrative of Kevin Jones always finishing great on this course?
He always does.
He always does. Like, nowhere else does he ever really, ever in the, I mean, he's top 20 maybe, but he's never really up in the runnings for.
I mean, it's his backyard, so I think he
Is it?
knows
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we talked about that
Yeah, we talked about that last week, but
Yeah.
Yeah, he always seems to play well here. It's a Prodigy sponsored event. Actually, after day one, 3 of the lead card players were Prodigy.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Burr, Jones, and who am I thinking of?
Alden Harris.
Alden Harris, yeah.
And he was leading. And then Eagle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Eagle. What happened to Eagle? And I'll give you my picks after that.
Yeah. So I guess what happened was he was throwing a forehand. I think it was on hole 4. And he felt his shoulder pop out of place.
Okay.
And so he just kind of left after that. And then they gave him par plus 4, as far as I saw on his scorecard. After the tournament, he said he has a plan in place for rehab. Before the tournament, he was going to take some time off, I think after DDO, from what I understand, and kind of sit out in May and kind of go through rehab anyway, just with what had happened. And this just kind of forced his hand into starting it earlier.
DDO.
Yeah, and he said he was only going to play. He was only going to be throwing forehands about 60%, and from what he thought he was throwing, he felt like it was only 60%, but maybe that doing it all weekend, it just kind of like forced it into becoming worse than what it was.
Yeah. I feel his pain. I have pathetic shoulders as well, and I have the same issues where it's called subluxing, where it pops in and out pretty easily. Yeah. And that's what happens to me. It's fatigue in the shoulder will help it happen. So like I could be sleeping at night and it'll pop out. And when that happens, it hasn't happened in a long time. I'm going to knock on the table. Has not happened in a long time. But when it does, it's usually after if I actually work out or if I'm doing something pretty hip with my shoulder, that's what'll happen. That night is usually when I have those issues.
Okay.
So I would assume that's kind of the same thing with him. I was playing Zobel. Zobel? Yeah. It was a Harrington event. I was down playing Zobel, and I was on one of the tee pads, and I used to come under my arm, and it dislocated my left shoulder. But it was after one of those, I was doing drywall or something like that. I was remodeling one of the cabins or something, and that happened on the tee pad in a tournament, and it sucked. I stayed in the tournament because obviously it's my off shoulder, but I learned to keep my hand in my pocket that day.
Oh, okay.
And that fixed going under my arm that day. So which was kind of nice. But
I think it was weird today. I get it every once in a while where my left shoulder, which is my throwing, I'm left hand, so throwing shoulder, and like I was in the car doing mail today. I was just driving. I was like, oh, my shoulder's feeling kind of weird. All of a sudden, I did something, and I like pop, like it just like the pressure, like there's pressure or something in my shoulder. I just felt it like just crack or pop or something weird. Yeah, so
yeah,
it hasn't happened with me throwing yet.
Yeah.
So
like when I scroll through like TikTok or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, I scroll through TikTok.
Oh, my shoulder popped up.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I come across those like sports things where like someone gets hurt or something. I can't watch them anymore. Like especially if it's like shoulders, like where someone's lifting weights. I like immediately scroll right past it because I just like I know something bad's gonna happen to their shoulder. I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
I think I watched somebody dunking one time, and he went up, grabbed the rim, and immediately just dislocated. And he went up to the pole, popped it right back in, like hit his shoulder right. I was like, that's why can't I think of it? Lethal Weapon. No, Lethal Weapon. Didn't you do that where he popped his shoulder out to get out of the straitjacket? Yes.
That's straight Lethal Weapon.
Right.
Okay, so my picks, I was a bit better than you. So I had Ricky, Paul, and Dickerson as my 1, 2, 3 in that order. Ricky obviously came in 10th, but Paul second, Dickerson fourth.
Yeah.
I say pretty well. I wish my picks in the weeklies would go that well. I
have Calvin on my team, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Tatar, Pierce, and Allen is who I picked. Pretty good. I don't know if I could have done much better.
I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah. So, and in that order. So, yeah. All right. So let's jump into talking about the tournament itself. So, should we just start with the elephant in the room or the hole in the tee pad? So we'll get into that. Congratulations to Kristen Starr and Calvin Heimberg. Tore it up. Tatar absolutely went on a heater.
Yeah.
And
did she had a 4-stroke lead the first day?
No, first day I thought was like 6, and then it went up to 6. Like
because she finished 10.
I think she was 14 going into the second day. And then the third day she went. I mean, it was crazy. It was an amazing amount. And yeah, just awesome. And Calvin just hung in there, did what he was supposed to do, and last hole Paul tied it up, or hole 17 tied it back up. 18 they both parred. Circle back to 1. No, they circle back to circle back to 1.
Yeah, because like I was watching and Kevin Jones, Paul, and Calvin were all tied up at I think it was on 17, and then Kevin Jones fell off.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be a 3-way playoff. This is going to be awesome, man. Yeah. And then it went to just Paul and Calvin.
Yep. Paul and Calvin. And then so Paul tees off first, wins the coin flip, tees off first, and slips, puts his foot in a hole, early releases straight into the rough on left-hand side just before the basket.
Right. You could just see, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And then pitches up, takes his 3, Calvin laces it and parks it. He's like 6 feet away.
Yeah, that was
beautiful throw.
That was, he even said that was his best shot all weekend.
Yeah.
Like it was a smash with his Halo Destroyer and just flex line. And yeah, like you said, 6 feet from the basket. It was beautiful. Like, and Paul, like it wasn't as bad initially. Like when he got to his position off to the left, like he could still, like you said, pitch out. He had a forehand. Yep. I mean, it was a good, probably like 50 some feet away or more, but I mean, he had a look. Yep. So. Yeah,
and Paul like 2 times now we've seen Mr. Clutch, the beast, kind of falters on playoffs. And the one with in Worlds against oh my goodness, James Conrad. That was just misjudging throw, skipped out of bounds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one, I don't know if you can blame it on him. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because I didn't see it. Like, I wasn't watching mechanics. Like, I didn't go replay to see if his foot actually slipped and caused him to pull over.
Yeah. Like, you could see the tee pad move a little. Like, whatever the turf is on, if it's rocks, I know there's rocks kind of around it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's directly on rocks, if there's something underneath it.
Yeah.
But you could see the turf move a little when he went to go plant.
Right.
But then I was like, well, Calvin just kind of Calvin just went up and laced that shot. So I was like, well, was it really the tee pad? Was it, it was,
yeah. Well, the difference is like Paul uses like Terex. He wants solid, good, and like, you may as well wear aqua socks with what Calvin wears. I mean, we've always seen the broken ankle pictures where it looks like he's absolutely coming out of his shoes. Mm-hmm. So I think Calvin's a little more used to the moving things, but it is what it is. They all played off the same tee pad. You know, it is what it is. But I did see a close up of the picture where somebody was like messing with the hole afterwards.
Bobby.
Was that Bobby?
Bobby was there. Cool Daddy, Slick Breeze, and he was standing by the hole, and there was a good sized hole, like divot,
and a rip right in it.
Right, and he's like, "What's the ruling on replacing or filling this in or something like that?"
That's what it was. So it was Bobby. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a divot. I mean, it's bad, and we see him like the settling a little bit on just hole one at our local course.
Oh yeah,
because we did that by hand. We tamped it by hand. We didn't have the power tamper there. And you can see that one settle. The rest of them seem to be fine, but you can see wearing, and that's why we use the turf, because we can lift it up and smooth it back out and then just tack it right back down. But yeah, in a Pro Tour event, hole one, right off the bat, like there's no way it degraded that much through the tournament. It had to have been a problem prior to, and it's unfortunate they didn't take the 45 minutes to fix it.
Yeah,
you know? Because now that's a talking point of Jonesboro. And I bet you next year when you go back, all brand new tee pads, probably concrete.
I could see that. I definitely, like, just excited to have it.
Yep.
Like, well, maybe we got to do something about that.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I thought from what I watched, I wasn't able to watch a lot because we're in the strokes of opening our other businesses right now. It was awesome. And I had it in my ear when I was doing some work, and I loved listening to it. It was awesome.
That's one of my favorite courses to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really pretty. It's green and nice this time of year. Didn't snow this year. But just watching some of the lines that they hit, and I really love hole 5, that downhill where there's the like little schism of water, creek or whatever. The basket's right there, and you got to either play it or you come up short, do your pitch up for par. Like, that's one of my favorite holes out there. Yeah, yeah. And that is, like, what was the one that Burr blew up on? Was that 4? No, that's, like, 16? No. What hole is that? 9? Over the lake. And it's kind of an island green, reminiscent of 16 at DDO. Or no?
No, at Maple Hill.
Oh, Maple Hill, okay.
Yeah. Burgess. I watched a portion of that, and Burgess absolutely blew up through 2 OB strokes, and then because he skipped out of the back, like the walkway for players to get out.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Upshot. So he went OB because what did he do? Did he throw it short? I don't remember, but anyways, he went OB, and then he tried to do a force over, never came back in bounds. So he went to the drop zone, pitched up just a nice little forehand dump, and he was playing against, the wind was pushing it down, but he must have thrown something super overstable because it caught an edge, skipped right out of the walkway between the boards, and it was out by maybe like 4 or 5 inches.
Sure.
And so he's like, come on. So he wanted to play provisional, and they were like, no, ruling is, and he's talking to the official that's there, or the flagger that's there. No, you have to play it from out of there. You play it until you get it in bounds. And he was like, no, I want to play a provisional. I'm like, you can always play a provisional, and then go finish out, go re-tee or go back to the drop zone. But he didn't. He went back to the drop zone and did it. And then he was pretty darn close. He was like 15 feet after that. Yeah. So, but poor guy took a 7.
Oh.
7.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was watching, what was it? OTB Skins. I was just starting to watch it. I didn't get too far, but Anthony Barella was in the OTB Skins. He almost aced hole 1 on the Skins match.
Did he really?
Yes.
That's a pump.
It is. It is far. And he ends up hitting cage.
Was it windy?
A little bit.
Okay.
But, he threw this line, hyzer, you see it flex, move to the left a little, come back to the right, and, just comes in and just hits the cage, and it's like this,
Jeez.
within inches of acing. It was awesome.
That
And
is
then
a
Cat
big,
Merge
big throw.
too. On one hole, got really close, I think, to throwing it in. Like, she buzzed hit the flag.
Yes.
And I think Missy Gannon did it as well on the island hole, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot what hole that is, but, she threw it, and I think it ended up hitting the flag as well and sticking on that.
Well, that's good. It's hit the flag.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, I've seen a lot of people hit that, it's got the barriers around.
Mm-hmm.
They either hit that and, roll, but I've seen somebody else also hit, bounce over that.
What a bummer, because those things are pretty high. They're about 24 inches. They're
Yeah.
2-ish feet.
Sure.
Man, yeah. So, any other notable things that happened there that I can't even think of anything. So, what I'm liking now is all the DDL footage that's coming out. It's awesome watching them throw 16 at DDL.
Yeah.
And everybody's, you get every disc golfer you follow on any social media has that shot of them throwing on that. So, at Country Club. I haven't seen any reactions or thoughts yet publicly about the new Gold's Platinum. No,
On Supreme.
Supreme.
Yeah, so
Jones
I know
Supreme.
Valerie Mandajano and Kona were out getting a practice round, and I believe that was filmed by Dee.
Okay.
So that's out on YouTube. Gavin Rathbun and Eric played it. I think I mentioned it on the podcast maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, 2 episodes ago or so, that they were playing a shorter format. I think it was
Yeah, it was the abbreviated one.
Yeah. So, you get to see a couple holes here and there. I've seen a couple other people tossing around. But it looked, from one hole, it looked like original hole one. That's you go down the right side of it's along the fence, and then you take a left and it ends out up by a pavilion. But I think they changed the hole, and that's now everything's kind of rearranged.
Okay.
It's not I think it's longer than Jones Gold. It's new added holes. There's a new island hole which looks really awesome.
Is it the Monkey Island one where there's a castle behind it? Did they bring that one into it?
No, that's at Peter Pan.
Oh, that's Peter Pan.
That's
okay.
Peter Pan. But that Ams get to play Peter Pan.
Okay.
And that hole's cool. I like that hole a lot.
I bet.
And then so this island, I think it's by the new island hole is I think the new hole 1, but it was originally hole 3 on Jones East, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the whole new course is, but I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah. And I'm excited to start hearing the rumblings of what people think after they play tournaments, because usually during practice rounds they're pretty silent unless there's a lot of issues. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. So I went with Jordan last year. He played Jones Gold, and he thought that Jones Gold, even for MP40, was he said he scored pretty well. Eric McCabe tore the course apart. He and Dixon Jowers both were playing pretty well there.
Yeah.
But Jordan, I think he said he scored pretty well there, from what I remember.
Okay. Yeah, I felt because he got shorted because he only played
They had the
1.5 round or something like that. Yeah, it was weird.
But what was it? Oh, I thought I had another thought, but now I can't remember. They don't even have age protected. We talked about that way early this year, that they don't have age protected divisions, which is kind of a bummer.
And I wonder if that's just
pro at least.
Yeah. I wonder if that's just kind of the player packs and all that stuff, just trying to limit the field size to make it feel a little more prestigious for the pros. I don't know. I don't know if they ever came out with a reasoning behind why they did it, other than that they just did it.
Yeah.
Unless they're switching, going to 2 weekends and they're planning on doing that in the future, and they just decided to cut it out this year. But
same thing with, they have Worlds coming up later too, so I don't know what the understanding is of that, but it seems like this Jones Supreme layout is kind of a dry run for Worlds, and then they might tweak that even more for when Worlds actually comes around.
Well, because they installed concrete tee pads and stuff, new concrete tee pads and stuff for it. So now it's just refining it, cleaning it up, doing things like that, I'm sure. So, but yeah, I'm excited for it. So P. McBee won it last year, and this was also the tournament that Ricky lost his sister.
Yes.
So rest in peace. But Ricky lost his sister, but he's still put up a fight. He was their lead card last day. I mean, did awesome there. So I'm excited to see that battle come to fruition as long as they're there. And I think with Rick, I think you're right. I think there's going to be this DD, like everybody gets pumped. They're in their own city. You know, everybody's there to encourage them. So I think he's going to get that little bit of encouragement there. And
then Haley King won it for the women last year.
Right. Yep. And then what was it? Alan that was second. I feel like she came in second.
She might have.
Yeah. Because Paige Pierce was not there.
Right. She skipped.
And she's there this year?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's a good question.
Because I know she purposefully skips that one.
She did. Yeah, she did last year after the whole.
All right, so I'll do my picks for MPO, and I am gonna go with Paul, Dickerson, Ricky.
Okay.
Is going to be my three. So same picks as last week. I am just going to switch them up with Dickerson and Ricky and putting Paul in number one because I just feel like he has something to prove now. He's had 2 weeks that he is just been off the mark slightly. And I think he's going to come in guns blazing, ready to go. And he's very familiar with this. He's like, what, 4-time or 6-time DDO winner or 4-time? No, just 2-time. Just 2-time. And we have for our FPO, are you ready to do FPO or you want me to go with it?
You can go with it.
Okay.
I was just trying to see if Paige was actually signed up.
Okay. She is not in my top 3, so I'm not going to put her in there anyway. So I'm going to put Merch at 3. I'm going to put, is Tatar officially in? I'm pretty sure she is.
She is in.
Okay, I'm going to put Tatar at 1, and then I'm going to go with...
Paige is in as well.
Okay, Paige is as well?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Gannon.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
I'm going to put Tatar, Gannon, Merch. So
okay.
I'm kind of going a little off the beaten track because I feel like I have to because of my Paul, Dickerson, Ricky picks for the male side. All right, where you got?
I don't want to be boring. Okay, I'm going to go, but I'm going Paul first.
Uh-huh.
I got Calvin, 2.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm going to go, my dark horse pick will be Gannon Burr.
Gannon, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then?
I got, first, I'm going to take Katrina Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Kristen Tatar.
Tatar, okay.
Third, Valerie Mandujano.
Oh, good. Dang it. Okay.
I thought about Kona.
Uh-huh.
But I have her further down.
Yeah, I would put her further down too, because Kona hasn't really done anything to prove that she's top 3. Honestly, I would have a hard time putting her in top 5 at the moment. She's getting better. She's improving. Things are coming around, which I'm super happy to see for her. But she's still, I don't think she's a top 5 still. I like it. I mean, I like Kat and Tatar. Like, I love that. I mean, I think Kat will be up there because she didn't play her greatest golf this last weekend.
No, she really didn't.
No, it wasn't great.
And even at Champions Cup, she fell off. But then the last round, she shot hot round. She shot the course record the last round at Champions Cup.
Yeah.
But then the following weekend was a bit of a dud.
Right. So then Calvin, you pick at number 2. So you think Calvin's going to follow up? Because think about there has been no repeat winners this year.
I didn't pick Calvin to win.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying that thought. Usually they bump down the list quite a bit.
I just think that the course plays to his strengths. He throws far, but I mean, there's a lot of people that throw far.
Right.
But I think he's played pretty decent there the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. From last year when I remember seeing him, he played pretty well.
Yeah.
And then Gannon, he's just a pick that I don't know. I felt like going out on a whim, but I think he'll do well.
Yeah, because I think this is a Vegas-esque course.
Country Club
is.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I see with. But I don't know the Supreme layout.
Right.
But I'm assuming there's trees. I'm assuming there's low ceilings. I'm assuming there's gaps that need to be hit. I'm assuming there's OB. But yeah, I would see Gannon as being a good choice because I think he will be able to score very well. And are they only playing last day or is it 2 days?
2 days at Country Club, 2 days at.
So 2 and 2.
Or it'll be Jones 2 days, Country Club 2 days. That's what the layout was. That was the schedule last year.
Okay. So I'm assuming it's going to be.
I would think so.
Okay. All right. Cool. There's our picks. I'm just excited to see it all around. I really enjoy DDO/GBO/ whatever you want it. Well, I guess it's only ever been GBO and DDO.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see it. It's a iconic, has a lot of history, and we're going to see it twice this year. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. All right. And then I think my heater went on downstairs. Let's see. We have.
It's always something here.
It is weird. Like I try to turn all the stuff down and off, and we're right above my garage, which is a shop, and it has a shop heater. All right, Matt Bell, talk about that.
Yeah. So I was on Instagram this morning, and there was hole 16, the island hole at Country Club. You know, last year Ricky had the famous throw in where he's threw it in from the drop zone, and I don't remember how far the course or how long the hole is, but it's far. Mm-hmm. Jomez had the video where it was Calvin and Eagle and Brody, they picked out the discs and tried to see if they could
stuff that was left behind in the water.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah. So I mean, it's a bomb, and to even get it to stick on the island, you see people roll off or skip onto the island.
And I like that they put the backdrop because in the years past they didn't have the backdrop. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's only 2 or 3 years now that they've had the backdrop there.
Yeah,
because that was where the controversial Katrina Allen, Paige Pierce throw a mini.
Yes.
Is it in or out?
Yep. Right. And so so there was a contest for $25,000 to sink an ace, and there's video of Matt Bell throwing a Thought Space Athletic disc. I forgot which one. Synapse, maybe. One of the newer drivers that has come out. And he just throws it out on hyzer, sails nice, and
just perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. Right in the basket. I think Jonathan Nicholson was there as well. I saw it originally on Ace Run Productions. That's whose Instagram I saw it on. But so a bunch of guys there high-fiving them and everything. And then earlier, even I think it was yesterday, there was somebody else that hit a
blonde prodigy player.
I think it's Innova. I'm not sure, but
it was Innova. Yeah,
but I saw it on Innova's page, and he hit an ace as well. But it wasn't during this contest, so it didn't.
Right. So what was the contest? Was it that DD the 5 or 10, 25 or whatever it was?
No, because he that's if you sink an ace with a DD disc,
you get $10,000.
You get $10,000. If you hit an ace, you get 5. And that was, I think it's on designated holes. This was like a whole separate,
just random event.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's
a good payday.
Right.
It's one of the highest paydays there's ever been in disc golf.
Yeah, I mean,
actually been given.
Yeah, I mean, besides the match play yesterday, that. No one, I don't know how many people saw it because you had to pay for it, but from what I've heard, walking away with like $15,000.
Yeah, and it ended up being Stokely, Brody,
Calvin and
Simon.
Because Eagle dropped out, and then Ricky dropped out. I didn't even know Ricky dropped out even before that because they're like Calvin came. Calvin was mentioned during Jonesboro that he was going to do it, and I was like, oh, he must be replacing Eagle, but that seems like too short of a time period to really. Get it going, and I had no idea Ricky had dropped out.
I didn't either. I didn't know that Ricky dropped out. I'm wondering why. I mean, that's a huge payout.
Yeah,
for that.
I don't know.
But it is the week of his sister's passing. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm sure maybe some obligations or something came up with DD where they're like, oh, we would really like you to do this. If you can make it here early.
Sure.
Like I know this morning he was there. helping hand out player packs at check-in.
Oh,
so
okay.
maybe, who knows? There could have been a lot of media things going on.
Sure, yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, and he seems to be very involved and wants to be part of the team and things like that. So that's great. All right, so let's talk about rules official on the course. All right, so let's solve this problem, and then we can just send this podcast over to PDGA, and they can listen to it, and we got it. So, how do you feel? Like, what do you think should be done for rules and rules officials on the PDGA? Because there is quite a few instances where rulings or rules violations have been taken advantage of quite often, or rulings need to be made and no one's there to make the official rulings.
Right.
So what do you see as being some of the most viable options for it? Because you've heard discussions of 18 officials on 18 holes. We've heard discussions of one rules official with each card, which is even more rules officials, because I bet you there's probably 20, 22, 25 cards out on the course at one time. I know that sounds like that's not possible, but they start every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And if there's a backup, you're just going to get a bunch of cards on the course. So you couldn't time it any better. But then again, if there were rules officials, they can move it along. Roaming rules officials, and which kind of they have now, or the scorekeeper be a rules official.
Right.
So, I don't know. Like, what do you think? I'll get your opinion first.
I heard something similar to this just a little while ago, and I remember this question was brought up, I think, on Disc Golf Answer Man a while ago as well. But because I had mentioned the scorekeepers situation, like the UDisc scorekeepers, becoming officials and being there, like they're like, no, you can't have a scorekeeper be there and be a rules official at the same time. Like it's too much of a hassle kind of thing. And I could see that the PGA right now has rules officials floating kind of like you said, like in between every couple of holes where you can just like call them in to like
the Pro Tour.
Yeah. And come in to call rules and things like that. The amount of volunteers you would need to pay, or not even, well, I guess if volunteers, you're not paying them, but if you had to pay that somebody, that's a lot of money to shell out.
Right.
To have somebody follow a card.
But why don't you think that would be possible though? Because you think about like all the people that are refs for high school, little league, or umps or whatever it may be. I mean, there's a ton of people that do it not because they played the game, but just because they love that role. They want to be, so would it be that far-fetched to think that you could pay somebody $25 a round or something to do?
Yeah. I don't think that's out of the question. But are you going to pay these people to also travel with the tour? Or are you just going to go stop to stop and hope that you have enough people to do it? Like that's a big commitment. I think to find people at each stop that would come on and do it. Like
you think so? Like, so we have rules officials. So every pro has to be rules official certified. So why not take it one step further and say, okay, you're rules official certified, and you can make X dollars for coming out for a Pro Tour event and post yourself on a hole. And this is your hole. So you stand somewhere centrally located, put you up in a tree stand. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, but you're the guy. You're the guy there. And all this has to happen, obviously, taking the self-regulation out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the biggest thing is like, if we're going to continue to be self-regulated, stop whining, call them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
But if we're not going to be, if we're pushing that direction, like, I mean, I would do it. I think it'd be awesome to go and be a rules official and like, and I would be a guy that would call it.
Sure.
I don't have an issue like, hey, for fault, you hit your meanie. Like,
so like, like right now, like with faults and things always have to get seconded. Would a play, like you would call, like say an official calls something.
Yeah.
Does that automatically have to get seconded, or is that just final word?
I think, being self-regulated. So if you want to keep some sort of that that feeling in the game, you know, the historic value of what the rules officials were, or what are going to be compared to what the rules who the rules officials were now or are now.
Right.
That was a horrible speech there. I'd say maybe you have like an overruling. Like, okay, so if there is something that happened where, and let's pick on Nico. Sorry, Nico, if you listen. Let's pick on Gannon Burr. So Gannon Burr takes too long to putt, and constantly. So finally, someone's like, "Hey, clocking you, boom, rules official, penalty."
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, "No, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Whatever, overruled."
Yeah.
But the card has to come to a consensus. So it has to be majority consensus. So the 3 of the 4 players, obviously not the person that's being called on it, but the other 3 players have to agree. Okay, bogus rule call. Just keep going. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Someone else had brought up a while ago, well, why can't caddies just be, calling that? That's not the job of a caddy either.
Well, right. And where's the bias there?
Right, exactly.
Or where isn't there a bias?
Yeah.
Rather. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see that happening either. Like, I think there are so many rules officials out there right now that are ready to go. We have to be rules officials to play pro. So why not utilize them? Because then it's still self-regulated by the body of the players.
Sure.
But you have one person per hole. And that's it, 18. I mean, could you imagine how many people would sign up and probably even pay to be a rules official? I mean, look at Maple Hill. People are paying to go work.
Right.
Because they get a player pack and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't people be like, absolutely, I'll hold those flags, or I'll have someone hold the flags, and I'll sit there and I'll just watch play.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure everything's moving along.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys are playing too slow, or hey, but whatever. They can keep everything going.
I think the hard thing, though, is, once a card comes to a hole, that rules official, who knows where they are on the course, has to go back up to the tee box and, follow the play.
Sure.
But you only have so much time before the next card ends up teeing up. So you got to bust your butt up to the, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe the idea, if that's how you're going to go, is to just have officials per card. But like you said, that's just way too many. That's just way too many volunteers.
It would be a lot because you would have to rotate, like, once you're finished following your card. But it's not impossible.
No.
But, you think rules infractions really don't happen on tee pads.
No, they don't.
They happen either in the fairways from foot faults, and they happen for time violations. They're the biggest ones. I mean, there's all kinds of different ones, like stance violations and things like that. But as long as you're about midway down, like where the drives land, that's probably where you're going to have the biggest issues.
That's true.
So you're there, then you could go along with them. And honestly, while you're standing there, wait for people to putt, you could have your eye on the tee pad of the next hole. So you could kind of go from like mid fairway to the basket to the next tee pad is kind of where your supervisory role would be. Because I think that would be about how it would be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I would say on the tee pad is probably where the least violations happen. Because when have you ever heard of anybody saying, oh, there's issues on the tee pad?
Right.
Other than with Nico.
Yeah.
On a windy day. But even that, if you're standing there watching people putt out and there's a backup happening and Nico's standing on the tee pad or Gannon Burr standing on the tee pad or whoever it is, Paul McBeth standing on the tee pad, and they're taking forever because it's windy.
Yeah.
Hey, violation.
So I was going to say, right now as being self-regulated, okay, so in the back of, there's an ideal amount of time to play the course. So do you, how at, track events, there's, split times, for timing stuff? Should there be a starting clock per card where you just, click and, you time it, and then, they get to 18 and they finish, time out, see how long it takes, and then, based upon time, if you feel like you stroke the whole card?
Oh, so you actually have to finish it within a certain amount of time.
Well, right. Here's the thing. Because, what's with the self-regulation, if you're not calling time violations for things and you're exceeding the amount of time, kind of like a chess clock.
Right.
If you're exceeding that amount of time and you can be like, you guys aren't calling what needs to be called.
Right.
Everybody's getting stroked.
Right, right. I mean, I like that idea, but not really. Because I feel like that's something pace clocks. So have you ever played like charity events or anything on a real golf course when you have the time clocks when you tee off?
I haven't played real golf in quite a long time.
Okay, so when you play charity events or even tournaments or anything like that, I've never played any tournaments. I've only played charity events. But every charity event I've ever been on, there's been a starting clock, and it's on the tee pad. And what it is you tee off at 11:50. Mm-hmm. And each subsequent clock is set on, there's probably like every other tee pad, there's a clock that's set, or maybe every 4 holes. It depends on how many they have, but there's a clock that's set to, it's set behind about how long it takes you to play those 4 holes.
Oh, interesting.
So when you arrive to that tee pad, you can see, okay, it's at 11:50 still. We're good. We're on time. We're playing the holes as it should be.
Oh, interesting.
Whereas, let's say you're 10 minutes behind, you're playing 10 minutes slower. It'll be noon. So, and then it goes all the way through. So by the time you get to the 16th hole, okay, this clock says 11:40 or 11:50. Like we're playing too fast, we're playing too slow. But they're pace clocks.
Interesting.
So every couple holes, there's a pace clock. And I think that would be a good signature to say, okay, we need to pick up because we've all been in the tournaments where you're like, why is this taking so long?
Yeah.
Like we play this hole and then we sit for 10 minutes and we play the hole and sit for 10 minutes. Like, how is this possible? And they're not like, it's not a poorly designed course. It's nothing like that. It's just people just are taking forever to play. Mm-hmm. And we all have bad days. We all throw OB. But I think something like that could help keep pace.
Right.
And, golf is kind of this hybrid where it's self-governed and has officials. And I think we can reach a compromise in a lot of that type in that way. Now, we don't have to be like golf. We're going to get flamed for talking about golf so much. But I don't think we have to be like them, but there are certain cues and things that have already been worked out that we can use. Like those pace clocks are awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I loved watching them because you get to the next tee pad or whatever tee pad it was and be like, oh, that's awesome. We played like 2 minutes slower than what they assume it would be.
Sure.
So that's kind of what you were talking about. Like you time people about how long an average group takes to play, a good paced group takes to play. And then you just set that clock that many minutes behind. I think that's awesome. And I think if you just started utilizing those without even changing anything else, it would probably help pace of play quite a bit.
Yeah.
But who knows? Because you also got to teach people about them, and then they got to start utilizing them, and then so there's a process to inputting them. But I think the only surefire way, the best. Forget how long it would take to implement and resources. Like ideal word, everything's open to you. The best way is one official per card. They follow you. The only thing that sucks about that, you've always had that one teacher that's really horrible to deal with, and you have that one teacher that's awesome. Yeah. So I would assume that would be the same way with the rules officials.
It'd be like the teacher from Fast Times. Every time high, it always is on Spicoli. You're right, Mr. Spicoli. Yeah. It is all our time. And
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it would be fun to see that work and see how it would go. And right now, technically, only the tournament director and assistant tournament director are rules officials on ground and can actually make decisions on penalizing and those type of things outside of players. And only the players on your card. So to introduce it, obviously, there'd have to be the PDGA rule change. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to start thinking about it, to progress the sport. And I don't know if it necessarily has to progress the sport, but at the upper echelon of the sport, I think it needs a change. And I think that's just for optics, to keep things moving, to not see the drama in the background, because all this drama, all these little nitpicky things, like it just doesn't look good to money. Mm-hmm. And when I say money, other sponsors and other voices that come into the sport, it just doesn't look great. So to try to do something, focus on the upper echelon. Like our little flex starts, who cares?
Right. Like I think even Eric Oakley has mentioned this before. The PDGA is they're too occupied with setting rules for like every division, where if they can just make rules for the top division and send those rules down and just have everybody follow them, where that's just got
right. And you want to engage younger people in the sport. You want to engage families in the sport. You want to do those type of things. But then you make rules for the professionals that inhibit AMs playing, and not inhibit. Well, let's just look at the caddy rule. Like as a 16-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, and you want to take your buddy out there with you, like, and he's under 13 or he's 13 or under, like that sucks. Or she is, whatever. Like you can't take your buddy out there, and he can be your caddy and follow. Like in these amateur events, like is that really going to make a big difference?
Yeah.
I mean, it could.
Yeah.
It could. But like these are the rules that like, okay, makes sense on the pro level. But down on the AM level, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there might be people on the card that'll care, but there's already rules in place that protect that. You are a reflection of your caddy. Mm-hmm. So that's your caddy's a reflection of you. Yeah. So I don't know. So anyways, rules official on the course should happen is a consensus.
Yeah.
And I think having them one per card is probably the best way to go about it.
That seems like the most ideal situation. Probably a little harder to implement, but yeah, I think that's the ideal situation.
Yeah. So I'm for it. All right. So let's see. We have the random question now.
Ooh,
Unless you have anything else about rules officials.
No.
Yeah. Random question. What is the strangest thing in your refrigerator right now?
Oh, that's a good question. The strangest thing. I was just in there today.
Really?
Yeah.
I was in mine today too.
Yeah.
I've had strange things in my refrigerator, but this is we were entomology. By the way, remember that? Remember I couldn't figure out bugs, study bugs, entomologist.
Yeah.
I think I said that already once, but so entomology. So in we had a area of entomology in one of my classes at college. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it was like biology or anyway, it doesn't matter. So I had bugs in my freezer for quite a long time. And like nasty bugs. Like I think we had a couple Madagascar roaches or Madagascaran roaches or whatever they are, like the giant roaches. We had a couple of those in there, and there was like a dead tarantula and like all kind of these things. It was awesome having them in the fridge or in the freezer because people would open up to get like frozen pizzas in college.
Yeah.
Like, what the? So that was one. So right now, the strangest thing I have in my refrigerator is probably what do I have? I don't know. Do you have anything?
Almond milk.
Almond milk?
I mean, it's really not that strange, but how the heck do you get milk from almonds? You can't. Like...
Have you ever turned an almond over and looked for their nipples?
Well, I have nipples. No, like I think it's like you crush up almonds and like you add water and there's a whole process. Like I've kind of seen it happen, but really to call it almond milk, it's just strange.
It's just juice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's probably some like weird sauces or something in there too that I don't use, but Alyssa would. Like I think cottage cheese is gross.
Yeah. You really?
Yeah.
You don't like cottage cheese?
No.
Oh, salt, pepper, saltine cracker. Scoop that stuff up.
No thanks.
He's not liking that.
No.
So I think the stuff we have fermented fish stock. It's like it's a Asian cooking thing. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's a fermented fish stock.
Okay.
And we have that in our fridge right now. And I got it a long, long time ago. It's shelf stable. And we were making something, and I pulled it off the shelf, and it is potent.
Yeah.
It was really good, though, but it's really potent.
You know what's always really odd to me, too, is Alyssa's vegetarian. She hasn't had it in a while, but when you buy tofu, it comes in, like, brine, like water or something. Yeah. It just looks like it's a block.
It's gross.
It just looks weird.
Yep. Yeah. Some of the stuff you can make with tofu is awesome, though.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I went through a long period of actually experimenting with alternative grains and meats and things like that for the restaurant. And tofu was one of the best ones that I had, but it was a texture thing. I know you can get the different textures, but man, the amount of tofu we had in our, because I was like soaking them and brining them and doing all these things to infuse flavor in them.
Right, because it just absorbs the flavor of whatever you cook it with.
Yeah. It's not like my mouth is. So when I found a hard tofu you could use, and it's not put in water, and then we would soak it in like some sort of brine or whatever. It was an oil, and then we deep fry it, and they'd be like little cube, like tofu cubes. Oh, they were so good. They were like chicken nuggets almost.
Yeah.
They were awesome. Didn't really like anything outside of that though. But deep fried, I was good to go. So, all right. So that's a random question. So I have a fermented fish stock, and you have almond milk.
Yeah,
You're living out there.
yeah, I know. I really like.
You don't have like odd science experiments stuck in the back of the fridge that you just forgot about?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, there's probably like empty pickle jars with like pickle juice or something back there. Like I hate pickles, so like that's weird.
You hate pickles?
Yeah.
Man, you're a picky eater. Are you like a chicken nuggets and French fries guy, or
No, I mean I eat other stuff, but if
what,
I
like hamburgers and French fries? Like the McDonald's menu, you're good with?
I don't even like McDonald's that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Right. Like if the kids eat it and it's like the last place we stop, like before anything else, I might get something.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Wow. No, I'm all about McDonald's.
Okay.
I'm pretty good with it. They got good sweet tea most of the time. Sometimes.
I don't know. There's other fast food places that I like.
Yeah, the ones I like more. I mean, I would much rather go to Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Oh, I like their day-old bread too. We buy it and we make garlic bread out of it. Oh, so good.
That sounds pretty good.
Super good. So, all right, shop updates. The only thing we got in the shop this week was Discraft restock. So we got the restock for Discraft. So how it works right now is they basically send you a box of random discs.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So,
but I was gonna say like, I stopped in when I was turning in the discs, and it took the Infinite order to get like their like pretty late, because like when I stopped in, like all the Pharaohs had just got there, the Exoduses had just got to the shop. I was like, oh, I thought this was coming like a while ago.
It was. So what happened was the box was a box from like FedEx or something like that, but something happened to where they couldn't make connection with us at the shop because we're closed for the days during the weekdays, and it's just on the weekends right now, and that won't be a problem as of Thursday because we go back to almost full time. But yeah, they just dropped it off. Like they kept doing it, and then finally some lady called me and said, "Hey, we got this box here for you," and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, FedEx? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, you could have just left it out the back door. I have a sign on the back, and I would have come and gotten it. And she's like, no, we're not allowed to do that because it needs to be signature. So it was like a week and a half late, because I thought it was just sitting in our office, because usually all the drivers around here know that we have the restaurant and the hotel, so they just drop it off in one of those places. And I just assumed it was there, and it never was. And I kept going like, no, it has to be somewhere. And then finally I'm like, did someone steal it? And then I got the call. So
yeah. I was going to say, too, some of those new, there's some pretty cool new Ledgestone Wave 3 discs.
Yes. Those
like
are
really
awesome.
Pretty.
Yeah. Some of those are really awesome. And they have quite a few bottom stamp options in those. And some of the colors on those ESPs.
Yeah, the swirls are so cool.
So good. And I like the new stamps on this run. Like some of the Team Series stamps that they had for the Ledgestone. Like I just like it. They're a little simpler, a little more plain.
There's the Reaper. Was that one?
Yep.
Venom. They had like the snake head on it.
Yeah.
I think. I forgot what else there was.
Well, they're obviously a Buzz Zone.
Yeah.
There's a Raptor.
Buzz OS, I think.
Yeah, the Buzz OS is what it was this time.
No, there's a
it's just regular Buzz
there's
as
a
well.
Flex ESP Buzz.
That's right, the Flex ESP. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like debating.
I think Heats.
There were some Heats there. I had the whole list last time, but anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all back out. So, and we have some of the, like I said, the restocks of Ledgestone, and we do have a deal going on with Ledgestone right now where if you buy 3, 5, or 10, then you get a special deal. It's a pretty significant discount, and we'll just throw a mystery box. We'll throw 3 of them in there, and you'll at least get one from Wave 2, Wave 1, and Wave 3.
Oh, that's cool.
Wave 1, 2, and 3. So we'll give you one of each at least, and if you go to the 5 or the 10, you'll get multiples of each of them. And then outside of that, there was nothing else really. So we're just looking forward to the new products that possibly should be coming in pretty soon. And then outside of that, we did get some new bags. We had the E-Force come in and the Discraft Buzz bags and the Paul McBeth bags.
Oh, they're in?
Yeah, they're in.
Oh, wow.
And we got the Paratroopers.
Yeah, I
which
saw the
were
pirate bags.
Yeah, the pirate bags, yep. Which were pretty cool, the Jolly Rogers. And then I think we just got like a standard black or something like that as well, or whatever color it was. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the shop updates. Anything else?
No.
No. Well, I say make sure you go out and play disc golf. Remember, Paul McBeth Foundation.org. Go, and this will be your last opportunity. You have one more day from the time you hear this. You'll have today and then tomorrow, and then that'll be it. So, but make however much money you want to donate, double it. I will make sure up to $10,000, and we're pretty close. So hopefully we push it. We got a couple more days to push it out there. But outside of that,
I was gonna say there's a couple people that reached out to us about movies.
Let's go with that.
I can kind of think of a couple off the top of my head. So Michael Cunningham said he loves the movie Hot Rod. Have you ever seen that?
It is a good movie. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
We got. I knew of somebody that said, "I can't believe he didn't pick."
Yeah.
And the number one movie in the world to him is White Chicks.
Yep.
And it's a fantastic movie. It's one of the funniest movies in the world. It's like mindless entertainment, and it's two black guys that dress up as two white chicks, and it's the Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
And man, they are good in it. They're so good in it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then Brent Jacobs, who we've mentioned before, he said Ocean's 11 is his favorite.
Yes.
There's someone else that said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
2?
Yeah, the was it Secret of the Ooze with Super Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady?
Yes. Well, Bebop and Rocksteady were in the first one too.
Were they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. Maybe they weren't.
I don't know. I just remember them in the second one.
Okay.
And then Ryan Campbell, who's Chain Shark, he said Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Layer Cake. It's like a English crime mafia kind of movie in the same realm of like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. And then
there's one I want to mention.
Mike DiMatteo, who I played he played up at Fall Classic. He said, "I can't believe you didn't pick No Country for Old Men," which it's a great movie. Like, I really enjoy Coen Brothers movies. It's just not
your wheelhouse.
Right. Like, yeah. I've seen it plenty of times, and it's terrific. It's one of their best movies. It's just not for
I
me.
have never watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've never watched it. I've seen it come across. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I've just never sat down to take the time. Boondock Saints.
Oh, yes.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
That
might have made my top 5.
Such a good movie.
Do you ever watch Boondock?
I didn't see the
Saints
second
too?
one.
It sucks. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's still good for mindless violence, but the first one has so much more development, and it's so good.
There's another movie I was thinking about today where I was like, I can't believe I said that, but now I just can't think of it. I'm like, yeah, that's up there as like one of my favorites, but
yeah. Well, we could do a whole nother episode just on movies again, because there's so many that I love, and I think we mentioned it last time. It's just awesome. Like, I'm not that picky when it comes to movies. There are some that I just would like. American Psycho, worst movie ever.
What?
I hate that movie.
Really?
I have a really strong opinion about it. I don't know why.
Okay.
I walked out of I've never walked out of movie theaters. I walked out of the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah. The only one I ever walked out, not by my choice, was what's the one with it was the first one. It was like first person Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah.
I walked out of that one, but it was because my girlfriend got motion sickness in it.
Oh.
And she was like sick, like bad sick. But that was it.
Because that was like the first found footage movie that they ever did. And after that was like Paranormal Activity and all those other kind of movies.
I really liked it, but we had to walk out of that one. But American Psycho, I hated it.
Okay.
I hated it.
I mean, I read a lot of Bret Easton Ellis's books, so I was like into that movie. And then, there's a couple other movies that were based off of his books that I also saw, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, Batman didn't do a good job there. He wasn't very good at that one. So, all right, where can they find you? One night.owl on Instagram. And
door_disc_golf. And then you can also send us any feedback or anything like that on throw@doordiscgolf.com. Why am I having trouble right now? This is bad. And then we also have just give us likes, shares, comments, do all that fun stuff. And then also jump on your favorite podcasting app and give us a rating and review if you can. That'd be awesome. We'll push it out there. And remember, we still have that mystery box.
Yes, we're getting closer.
Yep. So
But it'd be nice to get a little closer.
Yep. And then we'll start raffling that thing off. And then there is almost zero chance that I will get that gift card in our Pick'ems League. But other than that, all right. And don't forget, poopypantsdiscgolfer.com. JP's OnlyFans.
I'm moving to feet pics.
Oh, feet pics.
You can make way more money feet pics.
Is it feet pics that's the big thing now?
I think so.
Okay. What about hairy ear hole pics?
Could you imagine? Like they're like video of just like you like shaving it or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That's nice. Keep it subpar. Peace.